Here's a baby boomer fact. Boomers, in their younger years, smoked more marijuana and did more illicit drugs than any other generation. For most, youthful indulgence was just that. But as they hit middle age and retirement, many of them are continuing to abuse drugs, getting arrested for drug offenses, and dying from drug overdoses at increasingly higher rates. Why is this happening? Experts are noticing some life experiences that many of these boomers who are developing drug problems have in common. Let's use a fictional character, whom we'll call Michael, to illustrate. So let's say that Michael was born in 1961. That makes him a late member of the baby boom generation, the 76 million Americans who entered the world over a nearly 2-decade period after World War II. Michael observes during his formative years many of his older peers who identify themselves as proud participants in a countercultural movement. Its sensibility, anti-war, anti-establishment, and pro-experimentation with drugs. By 1979, he's a high school senior. He's among the 50% of his class who, according to a national survey, have used illegal drugs in the past year. It's the highest level of any graduating class before or since. 10 years later, Michael's wild child days have long since passed. He's working a 9-to-5 and is the father of a new member of the so-called millennial generation. The years go by, and Michael, almost a decade away from receiving Social Security benefits, is having bad back problems. His doctors prescribed him Vicodin. He drinks as much as ever, and the kid's no longer around. He returns occasionally to his old pot-smoking ways. This profile makes him, based on case studies by experts, a textbook example of a boomer at risk. At risk of what? The rate of accidental drug overdose for boomers is higher than for 18 to 45-year-olds. In fact, more people this generation are dying from accidental overdose than from car accidents. Many boomers are also getting treatment for addiction. Are painkillers the biggest culprit? While prescription opioids sometimes act as a gateway drug, 36% of admissions to drug treatment centers by boomers are for heroin, followed by 22% for crack cocaine, 12% for opioid painkillers, and 10% for methamphetamine. Over the past decade, usage of illicit drugs by older people has risen steadily, so that by 2013, nearly 10% of 50 to 64-year-olds are using illegal drugs. The highest rate of illicit drug use is found among 18 to 25-year-olds. Shocker. But the rate of drug use by young people over the past decade has effectively remained unchanged. Why are older people using more illicit drugs? Experts say theirs is a generation with a predilection for drug use based on the experiences of their formative years. Which brings us back to our friend Michael. As he rediscovers mind-altering substances, he's finding out that his body is less able to handle them than it used to be. And if he keeps it up, 5 years from now, he may find himself among the 5.7 million people over age 50 who government researchers expect to need substance abuse treatment. That's the short answer.